So the Cracker Barrel debate has been going on for a while, and I just talked with a woman that I met at our business after hours last week here and asked her if she'd been watching it, and she said yes. And the reason it came up is she actually had been meeting with a woman whose dad had started a company 50 years ago. And she's decided that she wants to continue on the family business. And one of the things that we were talking about is how do you do that in a way that is relevant and meaningful without losing the essence of that brand or that company persona that got the business through the first 50 years. And so I thought it would be fun to look at the old Cracker Barrel sign, right? And then think about it from what would I do if I went in Canva? Because I'm not a graphic designer, but I do have ideas and I do work with companies that have been in business for decades and are multi-generation. So in this little magic media thing, I'm like Cracker Barrel, family restaurant, billboard, and this is what came up, which startlingly enough, aside from the bad spelling, is really not that far from what's here. But what I did notice is this one's got the K with the swoop and the R with the swoop, and then we've got this swoop down here. So I thought, okay, if I wanted to play with this, what would that look like? So I'm going to open a new social media post, right? And I'm going to put in Cracker Barrel Old Country Store and see what comes up. And as you can see, I got nothing over here. Nothing. So let me go down here to photos. Let me try this. Cracker Barrel Country Store. I can spell, I promise. Oh, look! We've got all these barrels. And then over here, I've got the barrel. So I wonder what. Okay, so those are photos, right? So let me go back to elements. Let me go to see all. And let me go to Cracker Barrel Country Store. Look at that. I've got some barrels and they're graphic. Okay, so let's think about this for a minute, right? That actually doesn't look too bad. And then, I honestly feel like there's so many things here. Do we want the rocking chairs? Do we want maybe we want the rocking chairs. This is actually going to be fun. So let's just see if we can do rocking chair. Aha! Alright. So, you can't hardly see it, but we've all been to Cracker Barrel, right? We know what those rockers look like. And I feel like that's pretty close, honestly. Let's change the color. Not bad. Okay. And I'm gonna flip it that way. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna give it just a little bit of a tilt. And then I'm gonna copy it. And I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna move this guy over a little bit because this reminds me of like the front of the store when you roll up and everybody is sitting there in their rockers, right? And then let's go back to the barrels. Oh, I'm kind of I'm looking for something that kind of resonates with what we've got here. That's not bad, honestly. But I feel like I need something a little more subtle to go with the rocking chairs. Kind of like that guy. He's aged. So I'm going to position him to the back. And I'm going to change his color also. And I'm going to put him back there. And I actually do feel like maybe he needs to be like more, why not have more orange? I have all these like, there we go. He's a little more orange, a little darker. That's not bad. Okay, so now that we get this, I'm sitting here thinking like a lot of times you would see the barrel in between the rockers with the here, let me tilt that, right, and then do I have a, okay, so now what I need is the checkerboard, right? The big checkerboard. That actually doesn't look bad. The thing is, though, I feel like the checkerboards on top of the Cracker Barrel are rugs, but I don't have a rug. So for right now, I'm just going to keep this simple, right? I'm going to put this, let me see if I can do this. I'm going to turn it a little bit. Nope, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. We've got to keep it flat with the top of the barrel. Alright, my barrel clearly needs a little adjustment here. Maybe it's in the foreground. Alright, so there. And let's just move him over a little bit. I wonder if he needs to be just a smidge smaller. Okay, so I've got the chairs, I've got the barrel, I've got the checkers. The only thing I'm missing is the people. But what if we change the font here? What is that font? It's very scripty. I wonder if I can find a font that's like scripty like that. Is there a scripty font that doesn't look like it's really hard to read? Nope, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. That's not bad, but that doesn't look, that looks very, I need an A. I need an A that looks like that A. Can I even find an A that looks like that A, really? That's not bad. Nope, it's got that weird, I need a, So notice how on the Cracker Barrel it's got the A and the E. So I'm trying to find a font that's got that one stroke with the line. That's not gonna work. That might work. There. That looks very close. See how the A here matches the A almost. That's a little more upright. It's a little more, what do I want to say? Stiff. It's a little more formal, like what an elementary school kid would do when they were practicing their letters. But I'm going to stick with that because that looks like that's the closest one I can find. And you notice there's like Old Country Store. It doesn't say welcome y'all. It doesn't say come on in. It just says family restaurant. And they've got little squirrelies there. So I'm going to put welcome y'all. Because it's Southern, right? It's supposed to be Southern. I'm going to make it bold. And I'm going to make it in the same color as the chairs, right? And I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. And then these elements here, I've got shapes. I've got see all. Do I have a good shape? I don't have a good shape. I don't have a good shape. What would we do? So I've got that kind of circle-y jelly bean kind of thing. And if you look, yeah, it's kind of like almost like a speaking box, right? A speaking box. So what if I added elements? Let's do talking bubble, right? I'm going to change this to make it big, pull it down, right? And just make it a little bigger there. And I'm going to edit this. Oh, here. Stroke weight. Stroke color. And then this is the thing. Let's go transparency. And then position. It's all the way backward, but I feel like we're not quite getting it. Oh, that's horrible. That was a bad mistake. Got pumpkin orange. I got a gradient. Got another gradient. This is just going from bad to worse. This is really horrible. I'm so sorry. I thought this would be easy. But this is why you use graphic designers and not somebody like me. So let's just change this to white, and we'll change this to this beautiful ivory color, and we'll change this to dark, and we'll change this to white. I think we need him white too. Okay, so there you go, the new Cracker Barrel logo in 12 minutes and 40 seconds. Not my best work, but that being said, you don't have to have the big bubble around it, right? We could go back to, where's a good color? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. I actually really like that. So I guess what we've learned is that it's easy to be a critic, and it's much harder to do a redesign than it looks like. But I do feel like there are elements that could have been preserved, right? We could have kept the rocking chair. We could have kept the barrel. We could have actually kept this instead of going to this really generic Denny's or IHOP type shape. We could have just kept this guy. You could have just kept this guy and the barrel. Like, really and truly, because we know old country stores have barrels. We know that. So this was a huge failed experiment. But the one thing that I think I've established is that it's not as easy as it looks, especially if you're not a graphic designer. And I hope you found it entertaining, because it was fun. It was fun for me. But if it were up to me, I would have just kept this part right here. Right? You can just, I hate to say it, but let's just try it. Okay? Let's just try it. Let's just go right here. Right? I kind of like that. I think that works. I think that absolutely works. And it's like we probably would want to edit in paint, right? I'm getting a little micro again here, but if I wanted to, I would just cut out that little guy right there, and boom, there you go. That's the new Cracker Barrel logo. You could have done that, would have simplified it, and it would have still kept all the retro vibes, and it would have worked. And honestly, if you wanted to be even a little more, what do I want to say, selective in what you do, you could have erased this whole barrel and just colored that in and kept this part. And I'm not saying that that's perfect because I'm not a graphic designer, but if I have to choose visually between this and this, I'm going to choose this guy. Why? Because it retains the feel, right? It retains some of the original elements. So I know this has been a really long video, but I really think that for those of us out there that live, eat, and breathe advertising every day, I think what is causing the most angst is that this is missing so much character that was in here. And I hope you found it fun. It was fun for me to make this video. I would love to hear what you think of my little teeny tiny updated version. Sorry, this one right here. Let me know what you think. And I hope you have a good day, and I hope wherever you are, you get some of that good Cracker Barrel campfire packets, because we had those when we were out traveling and they were fantastic. So hopefully they won't get rid of those.